Hey, hey, hey. Hey, y'all. I'm live today. I am She Is Elle. And today we about to have a planting party. It is a beautiful yet cloudy day. The perfect working conditions. We've had a few sunny days the last few days, so I haven't gotten much work done. However, I've been foraging and collecting cuttings. Today we've got everything from raspberry to mulberry to red cranberry hibiscus. I've got some bitters. I've got Nopal. And so today I'm going to try to do two different growing methods. I'm going to put one of the cuttings in the ground as well as put one in a pot just so that I can double my chances of success because as it starts to get hot, I'll be taking a risk with the plants actually drying out. And so with that being said, there'll be a little digging today. I've got a trellis that needs to get worked on for passion fruit that's ready to go in the ground. So there'll be some potting, some digging, and a trellis being worked on, and we'll see what we can get to from there. I'm looking forward to, just being productive on this cloudy day, and um, and I think that's about it. Today, where the backdrop is my sugar cane, as well as the yucca is behind me. Also, I just saw this. Is this mushroom? Okay, no, that's not mushroom. Oh, it is mushroom growing. Anyhow, we'll get to that. The yard should get done today. Here's some beautiful sugar cane. I just want to show you that, work has been getting done. And one, two, three. There's about four of them over there, and two big ones right there. So I've got about 10 stalks of sugarcane growing, and I'm going to find a place today to put the raspberry tree. I have to remember that these things are going to turn into trees, bushes, and then trees. So I'm just trying to navigate exactly where to put them. So you're join me on that journey today. And from there, I'm gonna get to it. I tried to have everything here prepared on this table. I'm gonna check out the view and just make sure we can see everything. I've been foraging over the last few days. And so, of course, they're not fresh cut leaves. They're starting to dry out a little bit, but they're definitely still healthy. And any tools I don't need right now, like this, I'll go ahead and sit them to the side. Metal wire, tools. I'm already sweating and I haven't done anything yet. And got my gloves for safety. Got me a snack, coconut water. This is the great thing about being in the Caribbean, being in the tropics. We drink coconuts all day, every day. These are the hooks that we're gonna use to work with the trellis. So I'll leave this here as well. And I'm trying to think, what should we start with today? Let me cut off these alarms so they don't start ringing on me. Let's see. Um, let's turn that to 2 hours. Yes, I need that for 2 hours, save. And then I will do my front door in 2 hours. Okay. So I've got that covered. So these are raspberries. I could probably, this is a soft cutting. This is one branch. So I'm cutting this into, probably turn this into 3 pieces. That's Damiana, that's an herb. I'm trying to think what I should start with. So I'm going to, let me tap in and see what's going on here as well. Um, we're gonna get to it though. Otherwise, switch accounts. Okay. And then I just want to keep an eye on what's going on in case I need to change the view. I'm gonna be out here for a while, so I'm not in any huge rush. Okay. So okay, so with that being said, let's see what supplies we have today. So what I want to do first is I want to plant a cutting of raspberry in the ground as well as in a bag or pot. I have these bags, the grow bags. These are temporary bags. So we're going to set a few of those up for today. I have mulberry as well. And so we're going to go ahead and see about getting some of that in the ground, as well as digging. I done made videos with me digging enough. I really don't feel like it, but I'm going to. And so we're gonna prep a few bags of soil. I like to blend fertilizer, biochar, and then I top it off with, oh, I forgot, I have the Nopal here as well. And we're gonna use this as a rooting agent. So, you guys ever seen this before? I'm going to, let me see. If you've ever seen this before, I'm going to use the smallest one today to root with. So we're going to use this to put on the tip of each and every plant. And I'm going to grow these. I'm going to pot these as well. These can turn out to be beautiful trees. They're great for your skin. You can put them in smoothies as well as you can root plants. So this is a beauty that I got from a friend. Most of this is either gifted or foraged. And so, and then we also have cranberry hibiscus. If you could see this red plant, the leaves are drying up. However, they could be used in salads. and they're pretty good for you. Salads, teas, you can make sorrel. And so a lot of people make teas with the red hibiscus, which is why I'm looking forward to planting quite a few of them as well in pots. So that's just an overview of what we're gonna do today. Um, but let's start with prepping our, um, let's start with prepping our raspberry, right? So the first thing we wanna do is peel the outer bark off. And these cuts are not as clean as I want them to be. Let's see. Nope. So right now, there we go. Let's see. I got a little scissor on here. Let's see if this will help me clean this up. All right, and you see there's nodes. If you look at this, there's one. I cut one off. There's nodes here. One, two. There's one in the middle on the bottom. So, but this is a fresh. This is more of a new leaf. So this one might actually do better because this growth is pretty young. So I may even split this in two and see what we get from this. And then this was the other end of it. So this was the tip of this. It was like that. And so I'm gonna cut this into two as well. The reason why I didn't cut it up yet, and this is just a tool, is because sometimes if you cut them all up at one time and you don't know which direction is the top or the bottom, you will plant it upside down. And so that's why I left it whole until I was ready to plant it, because I didn't want to plant it upside down. So this is the bottom, this is the top. So this must have broke off to here like this. Okay, so I know that this is the bottom because I recall damaging this. But sometimes you will forget. A few days goes by and you wouldn't necessarily remember. So this is raspberry. I foraged this from my daughter's school, believe it or not. She's like, Mommy, we have a raspberry tree at school. And I'm like, okay, well, give me a branch. So she tried to get me a branch. And long story short, the teacher took it from her because she didn't put it away or whatever. She was playing with it. And so I had to go, when I went there for an event, I just grabbed me a branch. You know, it's not going to hurt anybody. Um, so again, my shears are not that great. And I'm not getting clean cuts, and that's very important for rooting. So, and anytime, another way to test if a plant is still healthy and alive is just scratch it, scratch the bark off, and if you see the green showing, it's still alive. It's alive and well, and you can grow off of it. So, boom. So we're gonna get that tip. Right? Boom, those two are ready. And then what I'm gonna do right now is take another cutting from this one, and we know this is the bottom, and I'm gonna strip the bottom as well. So now I have 3 potential raspberry plants or raspberry bushes, raspberry trees, if they grow. Uh, but the likelihood is, as long as I don't let them dry out, I will have germination success. Okay, so we're gonna take this Nopal. We're gonna cut that open. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it in half. And then I'm going to take this tip and kind of squeeze it in. I can probably split it in the middle just to let it go down easier. Uh-oh. So this one doesn't have as much juice in it, but as you can see, it's gooey. Look at that, it's sticking on my hands. Look at that. So we're gonna do the same thing with this. You see the glue? And this will act as a rooting agent to assist with ensuring that it roots. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna create Nopal plants as well to make sure we always have this available to us for rooting, growing, and for healing, as it's medicinal as well. Okay, so I have 3. So what I think we're gonna do next, because I'm sitting, let's just go ahead and pot 2 of them. No, I'm gonna pot 1 of them and grow 2 of them. That's what we're gonna do. And so these 3 are ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pot 1 and 1. I'm gonna plant 1 and 1, and then I'm gonna pot 1 so that we have a backup to the backup if they dry out or don't do well. And this is for our raspberry tree. And so I did go, I have biochar. I use that. I have germination soil. And I have fertilizer. So what I'm going to do first is just add some soil. This is just garden soil. And then I add my amendments. Remove this. So I may move the table a little so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. I would prefer if I could just dump it over, but let's see. Not that much in here. Okay, let's see if this helps. Boom. Since we are down here and I gotta do this work anyway, I might as well do the other bags and get them prepped. So I'm prepping these bags for the cutting. Okay? And they don't have to be super deep because they're not huge, deep rooted. They are gonna grow into crowns, but once they crown, we can put them in the ground. So I'm gonna do one more. Can you see the ground? I think so. So I'm gonna do a mulberry, hibiscus, a bitter. I actually need 4 to start with. So let's see if I have enough soil. We're gonna make it do what it do. Whatever we got, that's what we're gonna use. There we go. Okay, boom. It's a good amount of soil for now to start with until we amend them. One, two, three. Lucky for me today, I went and purchased some more soil, so I'm not using my homemade soil as of yet. However, I do compost. It's very humid today. All right. We're gonna take some biochar. Okay. I don't know if you can see this, but it's black. I'm gonna go check the camera just to see what my view looks like. Okay, boom. Okay, that's gonna give us a better view of the table. Let's see. And I can come around this side. I also got some bags of mulch, some wood to use for mulch. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's a better view. And we're gonna go and get some fertilizer in here as well. And then we're just gonna mix it up a little bit. And then I think my secret sauce is topping it off with the germination soil. It'll just root, help it take root. The bags are not full to the brim. If I need to, I could always add more soil, but it's deep enough for it to root. And I also need my tags. I need to label them because I will get confused. So I didn't bring those out today, so I'm gonna have to be very mindful of what goes into what. Some stuff will be obvious, of course, but not everything. So what I'm gonna do now is just so that we can move on to putting it in the ground. I'm going to just place the raspberry bush in the middle, and then I'm gonna water everything at once. So these two are going into the ground, and I think I wanna do that next so we can come back and get to the other stuff. Um, hmm, that's the mulberry. So I'm gonna put them all in the ground next to each other. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's see if I'm in view. Nope. Okay. So I'm not in view. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is next we're gonna do. This is the mulberry. And so I have one of these, and I think I'm going to trim this branch. And I'm going to, the mulberry was a much larger tree. Actually, it was a much larger cutting. So what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and take the mulberry and go ahead and plant that. And then we're gonna go to the ground and put it all in the ground at one time since I have a place for them all side by side. Yeah, boy. So we're gonna use the Nopal. There was another piece that I already had. We're gonna use the Nopal to root it. Okay. And so this will be the mulberry. And then I'm gonna plant this one as the tree. So I'm gonna prep that as well. And let's just make sure I'm in focus, okay? Yeah. So this is going in the ground as well. And so this bush, the mulberry bush, grows well in the tropical environment. It can take drought, but it also likes humidity and sun. And so here we have the mulberry tree that's going to go in the ground. So I have raspberry and mulberry, those two there and ready. And then you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and plant this as well. This will create roots as soon as I put it in the soil. You know, I don't need to peel it, but I am going to expose just because it's a little dry at the bottom. So what I probably need to do is just cut it so that it's soft and wet. We're gonna go ahead and put that in here. Now, over time, I may have to put something to support it because it's pretty heavy. So that's the Nopal. It's in the cactus family. It grows here in the tropical environment, and it also kind of like aloe is it's a cousin to aloe. Has some awesome health benefits, and can also be used as a rooting agent, which is how we're using it today. And it's just a beautiful cactus plant. And it doesn't, these spikes are not too, this one in particular are not too bad. It's pretty smooth, and I'm not hurting my hand. Okay, so what I have here also is some bitters. It's called Jack bitter, and this is the Jack bitter. And what I need to do is I'm going to use this plant to companion plant with some of the plants I have around. So my goal is going to be to have lots of Jack bitters around because it will actually help repel. It's great for teas and to heal, but it's also good for companion planting throughout the garden and the property. So I'm going to prep this as well. And what I'll do is I'll cut the bottom off, put that one in the pot, and I'm also going to split this in half, and then I will grow the other half in the ground. And with most plants, I'm going to use these leaves for tea, but you should always prune the leaves off. So we can do that first. There's no real need to have them on. If you just want them for looks, you can leave a few on, but you want the energy, once it hits the soil, to focus on growing roots instead of healing or repairing damaged leaves. And so for me, this is gonna go straight into a tea. They're already kind of wilted. So this is gonna go straight into a tea, and if I wanted to, I could break off these branches as well, which is very possible. I may just trim that one off. And then I'm gonna cut this as well into two cuttings. Okay, so this is the top. This is what I mean. So both will be at an angle. Usually cutting, if you tend to cut a certain way, you would be able to tell, but I don't like guessing games because it's just too much room for error. So we will go ahead and plant this piece. So again, I have raspberry, mulberry, and this is the jack bitter. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead. It's a mess and this table is not that huge, but I'm gonna go ahead and find the Nopal and get that pretty goo on there and stick it, okay? I will water everything here in a second, all at once. Trying to be effective, manage my time, your time, manage it well. And then I will also go get my labels. Also go get the labels. So we have that one. That I broke off. So I'm gonna plant this one. And then I have another. Boom. There we go. So these two will go in the ground just like this in two different areas. Um, Now it could take weeks for these items to root. So we'll check back on them with updates periodically. Maybe one day on a live in the future, I'll just walk through and we'll get updates on everything that we planted online while I was live. And then we'll just check back in and see how it's doing. One, two. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and do the hibiscus afterwards. Okay? So we've got what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna shift the camera. We're gonna find a space and we're gonna plant these trees. Mulberry and raspberry. So I think I'll put the mulberry here. And I think I'm gonna do the raspberry side by side. So I could either do them this way or this way. I think they should go this way. So we'll do one, two. There is a stump just next to us, and I'm seeing a big piece of root. So I'm at least 1 meter away from the wall. So if this tree expands, you know, it will, it has some space to grow. I won't allow it to get but so big. But it has the potential to be a decent sized tree, right? So I'm gonna put some amendments in here as well, just to make sure it'll grow healthy and strong, and then I'll mark them. I'll go get my, I'm gonna step away and get um, my markings so that I can put mulberry on it. So give me a second so I can get, what do I need? I need to get the water hose. I need to get I need to get the water hose, and I need to get the labels and the amendments. The amendments are just right there. I'm gonna get those first. Okay, give me a second. You know, I love my biochar. Woo. A little bit of fertilizer. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of, not too much because it's a tree and not a plant. So the germination soil is not really required, but I just mix it in so that this area is nice and blended. We get a lot of water, a lot of rain right now, especially. But the goal is for this to get rooted before dry season really approaches. Because once dry season approaches, planting new plants, new trees, is just going to be too difficult. They're going to dry out, you know? So right now, a cloudy day where there's no sun, and then I will come and water for the first month or two. After that, I won't probably have to worry too much. And even if I don't water, it's gonna rain. So even if I just leave this like this, it'll rain. So we want the soil loose and airy. And then I also bought wood chips, and I'm going to put some wood chips down as mulch for everything today. Um, I went to the sawmill and picked up some of the excess wood clipping. I want to make sure that this view is wide enough that we can